I just want to say, whoever it was that somehow put me on the email and text message list of every single politician in the country, I'm coming for you. Was it Bernie Sanders? I don't know at this point. I suspect that I signed something to help something happen on Long Island, which was my first mistake. And then that was being pushed out there by some local political jabroni. And then they just put my name into the system. And that's it. So never give your phone number out. That's the moral of the story. Unless it's for a gig. Long Island politics are all like, my name is Anthony Rotunda Jr. And if you don't vote for me, they're going to take pizza away from us and they're going to clean up the drinking water. And we can't have that. So vote against my opponent, Vinny Di Napoli Vincenzo. I don't know. They all have hyphenated names, as if Italian names aren't long enough. All right. Welcome to. I guess it's the post-election episode of the Joe Pontillo show. What a fun ride it's been. Things are great. I hope everyone is happy with their decisions. And if you're the type of person who has spent the last year making sweeping generalizations about large groups of people based on what they believe politically, maybe take a walk outside. I don't know. All right. Hit like, hit subscribe. YouTube, baby. Okay, so the election ended, I hope, I think, I don't know. I think they're still counting ballots in multiple states, which seems really embarrassing. Like, I don't understand. Is it just based on, like, people have better things to do? Okay, today's election day. Yeah, I'm not going to get to those today, though. Maybe next week. I feel like that's that's wrong, but it's been a ride. I have to retire one of my jokes now about getting texts from both sides of the political parties or political systems. And, one side is saying, they're going to take away democracy, give me money. And then the other people are like, we're going to end democracy, give me money. And then, and at this point, it's kind of like, well, does that mean we don't have to do this every 4 years? Because this has become really toxic and really stupid, and I don't think it's helping anybody too much. Sorry if your person lost, but maybe next time, less Taylor Swift and Beyonce, and more members of the Cheney family. That's clearly what people want. They want to see who led us into the Iraq War and pushed the torture program on people for no reason. Yeah, put those out there. Put a billboard up. We got this. Oh my God, people get paid money to do that. That's funny. Hey, the thing that's not really working, let's triple down on it. I think I just said that like Dick Cheney. Anyway, happy to announce I didn't donate to anybody, and I don't think I did. I think I donated to Bernie in 2016 because I had some hope then. That died very quickly because gave some money to Bernie, gave more money to Bernie. I'm like, yeah, I'm part of something. And then, a couple months later, he's like, well, I'm dropping out. Go support Hillary. And you no refunds. Whatever. So, man, things are bad. So the election was very funny because, a lot of crazy things happen. Shocking in American politics. The RFK Jr., who not anybody ever really thought about. He's a fan of the show, friend of the show. He's not. But Matt Vita was a big RFK guy. And, he says a lot of interesting things. But then also every other video of him that I see on Instagram, for some reason he's covered in bugs. And I don't know if that makes him more trustworthy or less trustworthy. But anyway, he joined up with Trump. But I think first he tried to join the Democrats, and they were like, piss off, buddy. Again, amazing strategy work all around. So that's so he's out there, and then so there were these two. I guess they're not sports betting apps, but they're betting websites. I think one was called Polymarket, and the other one was called Kalshi, and they kept giving odds as to who was going to win the presidency, and it was loosely based on, who was betting on who was going to win the presidency. Which again, like if we're betting on who's going to win the presidency, forget every 4 years. They're going to be doing this every 6 months. There's just going to be no, because this is the deal now. Based on the results of this election, this is the new coalition that you need to win over. It's the sports bettors, crypto bros, RFK heads, podcast listener coalition. That's who you need. That's why I started a podcast, because I want political clout. That's really all I'm doing this for. But these betting websites had Trump winning, and then other people were like, oh, that's just people hoping that he'll win, so they'll bet on him. But then it turned out on election night, they were pretty much spot on, which was kind of ridiculous. I'd never even heard of either of these sites before, but this is the future now. All the old polls are gone and dead and stupid, and some of them, they dropped some like the week before the election that just made absolutely no sense. Like, I think it was like Saturday before the election, the main person that does polling in Iowa released some poll that had Harris up +4 or 5, and everyone was like, yep, she's the gold standard in Iowa. And then Trump just very easily won Iowa. And I kind of just felt like they just put that out there to be like, this will turn the tide. And it's really, really enough. Like, what I love is that people yell about fake news, and then so often the news responds by going, oh yeah, well, you're right. That's basically all they do. They just like double down on like, yeah, we're not really trustworthy, but who cares? You're still going to listen. I don't know. There was a whole mess. All the newspapers refused to endorse anybody. Everybody had a meltdown because the Washington Post didn't endorse anybody for president. Who cares what a newspaper says? What year is this? 1953? And then like everyone's like, oh, Jeff Bezos, he bought the Washington Post, and he's just letting democracy fall apart. First of all, that guy does so many things wrong, including letting his website take down my first comedy special. Different episode, but first he got rich, stupid rich, and then he bought a newspaper. That's what like rich people did in 1892. Who does? Why would you do? You get rich and you're like, I'm going to buy a newspaper. I'm going to buy the Washington Post, and we're going to print the fairest news in all the land. Like, this is not what people do anymore. So that's kind of on him. And how much did a newspaper cost these days? Like, I could start a newspaper right here. This is my newspaper. Whatever. And then, of course, the big thing that happened, which ended up, combining politics and comedy, was, so Trump had this big rally at MSG. I'm sure you've heard about it in the news. And the guy from Kill Tony was speaking there, which I didn't really understand. Like, was he just still, like, hanging out there after his shows at MSG several months ago? Like, I have, again, brilliant marketing tools on and strategies on both sides of the election here. Like, one side's like, we need more Cheneys, and the other side was like, oh, we need to get this guy who hosts this weird show where comedians put themselves on the line and then people, crap on them for 20 minutes. I don't understand what Kill Tony even is. I know a lot of comedians did it. It's not. It just feels like it's taking roast battles. They took roast battles and they were like, well, what if we eliminated one side of the battle? What if we just put this person up here, let them do their act, and then tell them why they suck or why they're. I guess you want to get some laughs, but then what do you even get if you get some laughs? It's kind of like they do these industry showcases in New York City now, and if you do well enough or not terrible enough, they give you a couple of free development spots for like 2 months, and then you develop into nothing, and then you have to do the industry showcase again. So I don't quite understand the point of the show. But anyway, this guy, I didn't see the whole thing, but he made a joke about Puerto Rico, and it was really stupid. And everybody, the entire news media blew up with it because, apparently that's it. That ended the election right there. Because this one guy who has nothing really to do with the, whoever's running, made a dumb joke. And of course, comedians had to chime in, and it was dumb. It was one of the worst jokes I've ever had. It was very lazy. But that's what roasting is, unfortunately, and I don't support it. I'm not, like, I roast, but, like, look, I'm on the show. I'm roasting everything I'm talking about, including myself. That's sort of what comedy is. But the roast battle culture, and we're calling it a culture, has gotten completely out of hand. And I'm not just saying that, and I'm not just against it, because I've only done 2 roast battles, and I lost them both, but it's because I don't respect the genre. That's what it is. I don't think it's comedy. I like roast, like the old Dean Martin roast, or some of the Comedy Central roast. Some of them are cringe, but some of them are really good. And that's fun. That's when it's like, okay, there's one person we're all making fun of, and then we'll make fun of the other people on the dais, and then the person we were there to celebrate and make fun of, they go up and they, trash everybody else. That's fine. That's comedy. When 2 nobody comics that no one in the audience has ever heard of go on stage and roast each other with the laziest jokes you have ever heard, that is not comedy. It waters down the entire industry. Yes, I know my cousin runs these. And it's, I just, so I did 2 roast battles. I did one against Jay Nog, which I didn't even want to do, but he Jay Nogged me. He kept bothering me, and then we actually booked a date to do a roast battle, and then I got booked for, a paid gig somewhere, and I was like, hey man, I gotta bail on that date. He's like, oh, come on, bro, I just got locked in. By the way, you don't get paid to do a roast battle. So, that's good. So then we rescheduled, and I don't know. See, I was like roasting, like I was roasting a family member. Like I was like making fun of like the way he uses Facebook. It was like 2016. And I don't even remember what else. Just a couple like, borderline jokes. And then, roast, and then I don't know, he's all these like dumb, cringy jokes. Here's what it is. In a roast battle, you write some like, Shakespearean, a rhymed takedown, and then your opponent's like, and he's got a small, and the crowd goes wild, and it makes no sense, and there's like a handful of just like stock lines and jokes to use on everybody. Oh, it's a woman, she's a whore. Oh, this guy, no sex. It's... Basically, my point with roast battles is like, you would have just as much, it would be more interesting if roast battle shows literally just pick 2 people out of the audience at random, brought them on stage, and were like, have at it. That would be fun. I could support that. I might produce that show. I don't know. But yeah, I'm pretty against the whole roasting genre, or roast battle genre. Roasting is fine. anytime I get asked to do like a private party or something, and they're like, "Yeah, it's for my brother, it's for his 40th birthday," I was hoping you can roast him, and I kind of just want to write back, "Why don't you roast him? He's your brother. Why are you paying someone to come in and be like, hey, I'm here, happy birthday, here's why you suck?" That's whatever. And so the second roast battle I did was against somebody who no longer does comedy. So that's what I do. I play the long game. So you roast me, 50% chance you won't be doing comedy in 5 years. Or 4 years. I lost track. I don't know, COVID messed everything up. I don't know what to tell you. So with the election over now, it was really embarrassing to see multiple comedians before and after the election just post very serious things about like why you should vote for this person. This is what's on the line. And then when it was over, it was like, I can't believe this is the country I live in. Oh my God. You're not comedians. I'm sorry. It's not a comedian's job to seriously assess the world. Our job is to make fun of the world, the country, everything, no matter what it is, no matter who wins what, who's in charge. We are here to make jokes about everything. That is our job. I know a lot of people don't get paid to do comedy. So I guess, but because we're in this society now, or culture now, where a lot of people in entertainment specifically seem to think it's a smart move to alienate 50% or more of your audience. I'm trying to entertain everybody. I mean, yes, there's some truly horrible and reprehensible people out there, but I hope they're not going to comedy shows and or watching YouTube and Instagram videos. And if they are, send a bunch of money and then walk into the ocean. But this is not a serious business. This is what, I know all the late night shows came out, right after the election, and all their monologues were just like very somber. Welcome to tonight's show, folks, where I'm sad. And we've got some guests coming on, and they're also sad. All right, let's hear it for the band. So, New York. We have the funniest mayor of all time, Eric Adams. Might be the most insane person, I think, who's ever acquired this much power. And he had a tough job because he had to follow the second funniest mayor in New York City, Bill de Blasio, who famously murdered a groundhog in cold blood. And Eric Adams now is going down for taking money from Turkey. Like, how does that even happen? That kind of stuff always makes me laugh whenever people get upset about, like, I can't believe this politician is taking money from this country. What are they doing? That's so corrupt. And yes, it is very corrupt. Like, I know, there's people on the internet who every day are like, oh, look who this country bought now. And it's funny, like, if you're a country and you're buying politicians, I get it. That's what I would probably do. But maybe don't promote it like you're a sports agent or a sports team that just signed a new player. They always like make these like graphics like, oh, look who supports us today. And, and people get mad about that. Like, but at the same time, it's like, look, if a country calls me up and they're like, hey, we want to give you a bunch of money, well, what am I going to be like? No, I'm good. Sorry. No, just take the money and then do whatever you want. But for some reason, they decided to take down, Eric Adams for taking money from Turkey which, who's taking money from Turkey these days? I would totally take some if you have it. Like, how did that even happen? Like, what do they do? What is Turkey doing? They're just sitting around and going, get the mayor of New York on the phone. Yeah, Adams. Anybody who's anybody is taking money from Turkey. And then Eric Adams is on the other line going, well, let me tell you, sir, New York is the Istanbul of America. Because if you know anything about Eric Adams, he constantly says all these things that, like, you know, New York is the Narnia of America. New York is the Belarus of America. New York is the London of America. New York is the Rigel 7 of America. And just nothing he says makes any sense whatsoever. He's just the most outwardly corrupt mayor of all time. And it's hilarious. And then, like, the last few cycles, like mayor elections in New York City, nobody serious has run against either candidate. Like Curtis Sliwa or Silwa, whatever, the guy with the beret, he ran. Some short, angry Italian-looking actor ran against de Blasio one year. I think another year, like, it was literally just de Blasio with, like, a fake mustache. Like, New York City politics are just the most bizarre and corrupt things ever. And we deserve it. For the amount of money people pay to live here. They deserve to have the worst politicians imaginable. But everybody was resigning from Eric Adams', cabinet or whatever he's got. And, he's like, I can't believe they're coming after me. This is ridiculous. He's going to be the guy who's like, everybody's doing, anybody's taking money from whatever country. Doesn't matter. But, and then there's this story. I'm sure you've heard of it. I saw it on TMZ. There was this, I don't even know if they're an actual couple. There's these two people who live in upstate New York. The guy, I think, has an OnlyFans, and the girl also has an OnlyFans, and I think the guy might be gay. Not really sure what's happening. But they blew up because they had a pet squirrel who was adorable, and everybody loved it, and it was all over Instagram and TikTok and whatever else there is now, MySpace. And some lunatic woman reported them, I guess multiple times. And then, like, the New York version of, like, the animal feds showed up, probably run by Bill de Blasio, because they were like, hey, you're the guy that killed that groundhog. We got one more job for you. So they raided the house. They took the squirrel, and then they killed it. Maybe that department should be defunded at this point. I don't know. What a way to bring everybody together. And who is this person who's on the internet who sees videos of this guy and his pet squirrel, and they're like, oh my God, I need to ruin this somehow. I need to alert the authorities. How, like, pathetic and empty and, like, just sad is your life that you even know who to call in that situation to go raid somebody's house and steal their freaking squirrel and kill it. And I think they took out a raccoon too. So that woman should be in jail. And I say this as a person who almost every day feeds a squirrel. Should I say that on this TV show? It's not a TV show. Should I say this on YouTube? Is someone going to report me? What is going on? Whatever. All right. This was sort of fun. I don't even... I'm completely out of my mind at this point. One last thing. The baseball season ended. And the Dodgers... The Dodgers looked like they were going to lose to the Padres, and then decided to not give up a run for like a week, and then crushed the Mets dreams, and then crushed the Yankees dreams, and just crushed America's dreams. That's what it is. Good on the Dodgers, the scrappy Dodgers with their $900 billion payroll and their $600 billion player who's also a gambling addict, probably bet on the election, Shohei Ohtani, who Major League Baseball is completely obsessed with Ohtani. He's, while he's up to bat, they like superimpose like a Beats by Ohtani ad behind him where he's wearing headphones and looking very serious for some reason. And I kind of hate him at this point. Like, enough is enough. MLB Network or ESPN or Fox Sports 1, whoever the game was on, would be hyping up his next at-bat, and his next at-bat would be in like 3 innings. Like, just 19 more batters until Ohtani's next at-bat. So he was playing for the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, or the Anaheim Angels, whatever they're called now. Their organization's a disaster. They had the 2 best players in the whole league, Ohtani and Mike Trout, and had losing records every season. And you think the Mets were bad. And then he goes to the Dodgers and wins the World Series in the first year. Good for the Dodgers, actually. I mean that because they won the World Series in 2020. And as we all know, 2020 was kind of a fake year. There was cardboard fans, a few cardboard players. And it was a 60-game season. And you only got to play in front of actual people during the World Series. And that was in Texas. Because, as you know, COVID didn't exist in Texas. So it's safe to play the games there. So at least they get to win a World Series, and have a parade in front of actual people. I mean, LA people. But still, I love LA. I hate Randy Newman now. But I love LA. Hope to go back there someday. Maybe in 2025. How about that? So, good for them. Baseball's over. Many episodes ago, I don't remember how many episodes it was, might have only been like 3 episodes ago at this point, I kind of went on a big anti-Mets rant where I said that Steve Cohen should resell the team, maybe back to the Wilpons, all the announcers should retire, Mr. Med's head should be deflated. I take it all back now. I love this team. Everyone should be signed to lifetime contracts. Well, most players, not all the players, but a lot of the players should be signed to lifetime contracts. Bring back Grimace, Jose Iglesias, give him a recording deal, lifetime contract. I don't care if there'll be no money to actually improve anything else on the team. They just became such a good and likable bunch. Just by me saying that means they'll be terrible next year. But literally, as soon as I went on that rant about the Mets on the show, they became one of the hottest teams in baseball and made it all the way to the National League Championship Series. So, yeah, Mets. And then me and my dad went to one playoff game, and it might have been one of the worst games I've ever attended. It was against the Dodgers, and they lost like 10-2 or something. But at least they do this cool thing at Citi Field where they literally... they turn it into like a dance club where they almost like turn all the lights out like in between an inning and you can't see anything and it's just like boom, boom. There's a DJ. The Mets have a dance team. It may be the same dance team that the NYPD has. This was like the year of dance teams. For some reason, the police got a dance team. The Mets got a dance team. And because the Mets actually made it to the playoffs, the Mets dancers, vindicated. Everyone needs to apologize to them. Let's go bigger next year. All right, so it's November something. This month, we got a lot going on in the JoePontillo land. Let's see. We have this week, Thursday, I'm doing some winery somewhere in Pennsylvania with Steve Marshall and Kevin Lepka. Oh, the day before that, I'm at Broadway Comedy Club in the city at 7 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday, November 15th and 16th, I am doing Crackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio, the 58th biggest city in Ohio. I'm not really sure. And then I'm rapidly driving back to do a show in Beacon, New York, That's Sunday. And then I've got the Joke Pit in Springfield Gardens that same night. So that should be a fun, exhausting weekend. And then the following weekend, November 22nd, we're back at Michael's in Island Park. Saturday, November 23rd, something in New Jersey. And then Thanksgiving Eve, The Gaff, Bomb Shelter Comedy. Yeah, New York City, 8 p.m. That's it. That's the show. Thanks. Do all the things YouTube wants you to do. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell me to stop. Please, God. All right. Bye.